Welcome to the VG Tutorials. In this video on automation in VG Studio Max, you will learn how to automate an entire inspection workflow by creating a job out of individual macros. To create a job, I will create a macro for each step of the inspection workflow. Out of the macros, I'll create the job, which I can then run on as many datasets as I like. The job file will include all necessary data for the inspection, which allows me to easily share it with customers and colleagues. Okay then, let's get started. The use case I'll be working with is the serial inspection of pump brackets that are used in the automotive industry. And this is the inspection workflow. Now, in this scenario, the loading of the files will be done manually. But for all the other workflow steps, I will create macros so that, in the end, I will have 4 macros. Now, since you have learned how to create macros in the first video on automation in VG Studio Max, I will not bore you by going through the macro recording again. Instead, I have prepared the macros beforehand, and I'll just load them into the automation tool. If you want to see how I recorded them in detail, take a look at our tutorial P203, Automating a Porosity Analysis Workflow. Okay, I have all the macros of the inspection workflow. Let's create the job. To do so, I'll open the Advanced dialog of the Automation tool. On the left-hand side, I can see all my macros. I can expand them to see the steps they include. To create a job, the first thing I do is put the macros in the right order via drag and drop. Then I'll select all macros and click on Create Job from Macros. The job wizard will open. I'll enter a name for the job. On the next dialog, I can see the individual steps the job consists of. The first 3 steps are built-in actions that cannot be removed. And here are the macros I recorded and selected for the job. I can move macros, delete macros, or add existing macros. And a very nice feature, I can mark a macro as preparation step. A preparation step could be, for example, the import of the CAD model that is used to align the volume object. Since this will usually be the same CAD model for all the samples, it would be enough to load the model once, and not again and again for every samples that is inspected. And this will save both time and memory in the inspection process. So let's mark the CAD model import as preparation step. And there is one more step I'd like to add. At the end of the workflow, I want to save the output projects, so I will add this step here. And that's it. I'll click myself through until I arrive at the end. Then I'll click Finish. And you can see it here, a job has been created. If I expand the job, I can see the single steps and macros included in the job. If I still want to change something, I'll simply click on Edit Job, and now I can make the necessary adjustments. Okay, since this is the file that contains the entire inspection, let's save it. Seems like I have created the job. Great. Now I want to run the job on my datasets. The first thing I have to do is specify the job playback mode. Run on scene means that the job will run on the volume that is loaded in the scene. Be aware that the job will always only run on one volume. You can't run a job on multiple volumes that are in the same project. I have saved my volume objects in individual project files. So, what I will do is select Run on Files as playback mode. Then I'll go back to the Overview tab. I'll check that the job is selected here. And then I'll click on Run Job. And now I can select all the files I want the job to run on. Next, I need to specify a folder for the results. I have already prepared this one here, so let's select it. And finally, if you have selected more than one VGL file, VG Studio Max asks you if you want to save the job output for each VGL project in subfolders. Of course I want that, so I'll click Yes. The job will run on all selected VGL files. And once the job has done its job, the scene will show you the results of the last inspected volume. The output projects will be saved in the specified directory. And that's it. In this video on automation in VG Studio Max, you learned how to automate an inspection workflow by creating a job out of individual macros. The output projects are saved conveniently in subfolders. And the job file contains all related files and data, which allows you to easily share it with colleagues and customers for its use with other at-line or in-line CT systems using VG Studio Max. If you want to learn more about automation in VG Studio Max, make sure to check out our other video tutorials on that topic. I hope you enjoyed this video. You'll find a list of all our tutorials on our documentation landing page via Help, Show Tutorials. Plus, make sure to register on Nexus and make it your go-to place for sharpening your expertise. Get access to this video and other information material to get the best out of our software. And visit the VG community to exchange ideas, ask questions, and discuss topics with other users and our Hexagon experts. And stay up to date on the latest news and developments. Register now, a world of insight awaits. Thanks for watching, and see you soon on Nexus.